The WNBA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up with promo code NBA SGPN. Score up to $1,000 in bonus cash. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. Get your 7-day free trial by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. Yay, sir. We are back with another edition of the WNBA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. No me, no the voice, no the guy. It's me, a villain real, Terrell Furman Jr. here at your service. A little extra pep in my step today, man. It's always good to watch the Eagles embarrass themselves on primetime. Always good. Man, it's going to be a good day. It's going to be a good day. It's going to be a good week. Like in a week that the Giants somehow, some way scored 3 touchdowns and lost to a team that did not score a touchdown, and that team being our division rival, the Commanders. We had easily the best loss between us, the Cowboys, and the Eagles. Easily the best loss.
Define best. You mean for memes? Or you mean just based on like how would you define best?
On how embarrassing and how of how embarrassing of a loss it was. The Cowboys and the Eagles losses were way worse than what we did.
I completely disagree with you. Completely
100%.
disagree. Your kicker 100%. Got injured. You dropped the fourth down pass in the red zone, and then they went down the field and scored 7 field goals. That's the worst. That's the worst loss.
Saquon Barkley dropped a game-winning touchdown.
Yeah.
Or a game-sealing touchdown. And then Kirk Cousins on primetime goes down the field, and I mean perfect down the field, no timeouts in a modified 2-minute. It was really like a minute 30. Scores.
The whole thing took about 20 seconds because they played prevent. They gave up 3 straight 20-yard completions. But yeah.
And then Jalen Hurts comes back out and throws the interception to seal the game.
Oh no, the Cowboys one was a joke because the Saints killed them. But I think it's the first time in NFL history that a team scored 3 touchdowns in a loss to a team that didn't score a touchdown. That never happened before.
It happened before. No, it happened before.
It did?
Yeah.
I thought it didn't happen before.
No,
I don't know.
It didn't happen in regulation. But
sorry. Okay, sorry. My bad. Yeah,
so,
my bad.
I mean, get your facts straight if you're going to come here.
Okay. I think the Giants one personally was the worst one, but I think you can make an argument. All of them were bad. All of them were bad.
So much. The other two were so much worse. So first of all, the Cowboys were never, and I think that's why the Cowboys isn't worse because they were just never in it at all.
No, they gave up a touchdown on all 5 first half drives and the opening drive of the second half. The game was over immediately in that one.
Yeah, so I mean, so it's like, but that's also extremely.
Yeah, it was embarrassing. They got run out of the building at home. I get it.
And it was Derek Carr. Carr.
I'll tell you what, Clint Kubiak might be the best offensive coordinator in the league.
Clint Kubiak is the whisperer. Clint Kubiak just coached himself into a job.
Yeah, pretty much.
He 100% just coached himself to a job. It's the race for who's going to get Clint Kubiak.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, 100%. 100%. Those two are worse than ours. All right. What? No, they are definitely worse than ours. Scott Studio Reichel.
7 field goals to a rookie quarterback? It's not a great one, but you have an excuse.
Yeah, no, it's not a great one. It's horrible. No,
you have an excuse though. Your kicker died. You have an excuse built in. You would have won the game if you could kick.
Like I said, it was horrible, but as bad as it was, because I watched it live, as bad as it was me watching it happen, I also, on the side of the screen, also keep watching the score get worse and worse and worse and worse for the Cowboys. And I'm like, man, that's pretty vindicating. And then this loss by the Eagles right there, like I was in a horrible mood earlier. I'm not in a bad mood at all. At all.
Yeah, you're only 1 game out.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you guys. Appreciate that. Scott Studio Reichel. Scott, what's going on?
Scotty, beat me up.
Surprise.
Yeah, doing pretty well. Eagles losing was always fun, especially the way they ended up losing, so I do agree with you on that. But overall, last episode was fine. Ended up doing a solo show and ended up splitting. Won the lock, had the under in the Aces game. Lost, though, the dog had Carter over 5.5 rebounds, didn't really do anything on the boards in the first half, and then eventually fell just a bit short. So overall, decent episode. I think I got most of my leans right, though. I thought Dallas would hang in there against Indiana. I thought the Lynx would actually beat the Liberty outright. They did. I thought the Liberty would not care about the game, and the Lynx came out desperate, and they buried them early. And then the fourth quarter made it interesting. Not really, but they made it more, I'd say, close because the Lynx didn't care. They're up by about 20 in the game. So, no, I got most of it right. Unfortunately, the Mystics fell short in a game that they could have won, went to overtime. The under did get there, though. Overall, good episode. Can't complain. The main issue that I had on Sunday, though, was a game you were at, actually. I had a teaser with the Ravens, -2.5, and they single-handedly kicked my entire ass. So that's how that went. -2.5 killed my entire weekend. So that's how that went. I know you were there.
Yeah, that's a freaking horrible display. Like, oh my gosh. So many survivors were lost. I lost my survivor. It was a bad weekend. I think like some 60 and the Eagles. It was like, I think Circa said 67. Let me go see the update. Let me see the tweet. I'm supposed to be talking about the WNBA, and I'm over here talking about football. But the Eagles were definitely heavy in Survivor for sure.
They weren't as heavy as the Ravens, but I'm sure they were up there.
I mean, it was 785 Eagles entries.
I had the Chargers, so I had a pretty easy week too.
Yeah, dang. No, yeah, basically anybody that didn't pick the Chargers is basically out. Like
the Chiefs got there if you got really desperate and you tried to use like the best team.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was basically it.
Yeah. Holy crap. All right. Asia Wilson, 1,000 points in the WNBA in a season.
And they remembered.
Amazing. Oh well, it was always gonna get and celebrated in Vegas. It was Indiana we had to worry about, or I don't know. That's still kind of crazy they didn't say anything, but yeah.
I'm still waiting for you to play your drop, by the way, because you didn't play the drop yet.
Oh, what? Oh yeah, I forgot. I did not play my drop from the last episode. Let me see. Where is it? There it goes. It's always good when it happens, but Connecticut line got all the way up to 9.5. And at that point, at 9.5, Kalia Copper was ruled out. And I said, you know what? I don't think 9.5 is enough either.
It wasn't. It looked decent for a half, and then I think they gave up a 21-0 run in the third quarter, and the game was basically over.
They're immediately. So bad. They're so bad. I can't wait to talk about this team. They're so bad. Like, and then you know what? It's always vindicating. It's always vindicating to see Diana Taurasi and the Mercury play bad. Like, man, that's what. I love it. I love it. I absolutely love it. The hater in me today is very satisfied. I will say that the hater in me is very, very satisfied. That went Connecticut laying 5 there, and then halftime, full time. First of all, the halftime was never in doubt. Never in doubt. But the full time,
that was a war. Oh, both those games were great, honestly.
They were amazing. They were amazing. All right, let's go ahead. We had a good little start with some football talk. Oh man, I can't wait to watch the SGP show. Hey, definitely can't. You guys should definitely make sure you're watching the SGP Sports Gambling Podcast. The war against corporate gambling is heating up, and SGPN needs to know if you are ready to do your part. Take a couple seconds to rate, us, the WNBA Gambling Podcast, of course. Make sure you go ahead and rate us. Give us a review, 5-star rating review, tell a friend, word of mouth, all of that stuff. Spread everything about SGPN. So, I challenge everybody. Just go tell somebody that you know doesn't listen to this podcast. Hey, go give this podcast a listen. Getting into playoff time, you're going to need something to do in the non-football days. That's my argument. You're going to need something to do in the non-football days here. You might as well bet us with a huge slate on a Tuesday. Scott, let's go ahead and get into it. Let's see here. What's the first game on the docket?
You have a choice between two. There are 2 games at 7. We got 5 games in total.
Well, I'm going to go with our team, Scott. The New York Liberty on the road going to play. Why am I not going to this game? I might have to go to this game. The New York Liberty on the road going to play the Washington Mystics. Liberty are laying 9.5 here. 161.5 is the total. Scott, what do you like here?
I feel like this game is going to be going one of two ways. Either the Mystics keep it close and maybe win the game, or the Liberty kick their asses. I don't really see much of a middle ground there. I just think the Liberty, of course, needing that one win or Minnesota loss to clinch the 1 seed in the entire league, I think it matters. And that's why I was definitely interested in the Lynx over the weekend, because I thought the Liberty wouldn't care. Because they had a bunch of games in their back pocket. They weren't going to try to showcase anything they might save for a playoff series. And Minnesota came out because they're also trying to hold off the Sun for the 2 seed. I just thought Minnesota would want it more, and they did. So I really had no takeaways from the game over the weekend. But for this game, it's
they needed a loss. They needed that loss. Like for our championship run and us wanting to actually go see a parade. And Scott, again, if the Liberty win, we're going to the parade, like 100%. So we'll go. Just clear out whatever's going on. We're going to the parade. But we needed that loss. Like they really needed that loss.
Yeah. Point is, though, I don't have much to take away from the Liberty game over the weekend because it went the way that I thought it would. I thought the Mystics would beat the Dream. It was a war. It was a great game. I mean, Sykes was great in the first game, was terrible in the second game, and they kind of needed her to make a couple shots, and it just didn't happen. Now, the 3 meetings this season, the Liberty have won. 2 of them were decided by 5 points or less, and 1 was decided by 11. I think I'm going to lean to the Mystics here. I just don't want to lay this number on the road with a desperate team. I should say fading a home team that's pretty desperate, but the Liberty probably win. I'm not going to tell you that I think the Mystics win this game outright, but do I think the Liberty will care more and look a lot more focused than they did over the weekend against the Lynx? Yes. And the Liberty will look better, but I do think the Mystics with the home crowd should be a sellout based on the overall environment and how desperate they are to make a playoff spot. I think it's going to be a great atmosphere. I think it'll be a great game. I like the under. These Mystics playoff atmosphere games have been rock fights recently. I like the under in the matchup, but I am going to go with the Mystics plus the 9.5. It's a lot of points to be laying on the road when you don't really care about style points. The Liberty win, they get the 1 seed. And I feel like they might just win this game by single digits. I'll take the Mystics plus the points, but I also like the under.
I like Mystics plus the points too. And it's really just how this team has turned it on defensively over the last 5 games. And yeah, they give it up 79 points per game. That's 8th in WNBA. They're scoring 79 points per game. That's 8th in WNBA. They're allowing in the past 5 games 71.6 points per game. That's 1st in WNBA. Number 1 defensive rating team in the WNBA. They've slowed the pace back down all the way to 10. And we know back in those heyday, and I'm talking about the heyday of the Mystics, 2019 championship. And, leaning up to Elena Deladon getting hurt, that was a slow half-court team. Like, they just played through the half-court, played really good defense, and just grinded out a lot of wins. And it looks like that's where they're kind of getting back to Eric Tebow has with his squad. I think it's going to be a war. I really do. I think it's going to be a back and forth, and the Liberty aren't going to just be able to pull away. I think that they're going to really force them off of that 3-point line, not let them get too hot, making a bunch of shots, and slow the game down to a basic halt. I mean, Liberty aren't even fast in pace right now. They're 7th in WNBA. I think this is a very, very slow-paced game. I'm with you, Scott. I'm on the under here, and I think Mystics is the way to go. I think the Mystics are going to be in it, and Liberty pull away probably by 3 or 4 at the end.
I mean, you said you think it's going to be a war. 2 of the 3 meetings this season were wars already. And I think that the game in Washington is going to matter. So I'm assuming you'll like the under as well. If we're picking the Mystics to keep it close, it probably turns into a bit of a lower scoring game.
100%. I 100% think the under. Like I said, these are 2 of the top defensive teams in the league over the past 5 games, but really over the whole season, the Liberty are. And then the Mystics had, kind of up and downs, but they've really, really locked themselves to being what we known them to be, a really, really good defensive team. So I think the under is just a very sneaky, because it's at 161.5 right now. I see 161.5 out there. Like that's pretty high for a Mystics team already.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
All right. Yes, Lane Gretzky, Washington New York Liberty double result. No, it's not getting too cute. It is not. I think you should. Scott, what's the price on that? We need a price on that.
I can pull it up. I mean, recently FanDuel's prices on that market have been kind of underwhelming, so
Yeah,
Bet365 might have a better line. I
yeah.
can check. I'll check both.
Hopefully, it's like a 6-1. Like I would like to see a 6-1, but I just feel like we haven't seen 6-1 in that market a lot. But something great, because I definitely do think that the Mystics winning the first half at home, like 100% possibility, and then of course the Liberty comeback kids get it right in the second half. So I love that.
I see 5-1 on FanDuel, but I'm checking to see if I could find something for the Bet365. But I see 5-1 right now.
All right.
I see 5-1 on Bet365 too.
All right. I mean, it's not bad. I like it. There are definitely worse 5-1 bets out there for sure. That is a pretty good bet.
Mm.
All right. Player props. Free Sauce said check the stats on Jacquel Jones over 21.5 points and rebounds. Oh, well, she's cleared it. Absolutely. Looky here. Last 7 games. Yep. Like you said, last 7 games against the Washington Mystics. 21.5. She's at 37, 26, 33, 33, 32, 28, 38. Yeah, over in 3 of the last 5, over 6 of the last 10. I mean, looks like Jacquel Jones is just a really good play here today. Good call. Scott, what else you like?
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Ionescu assists at 5.5. She's been good lately. She's had at least 6 assists in 6 of the last 7. She's had at least, once again, just an overall solid showing. She's had at least 8 assists in 2 of the last 3 head-to-head meetings. At least 6 assists in 5 of the last 8 against Washington. So even though we do like the under in this game, Ionescu assists have been there. The points recently, not so much. She has gone under 18.5 points in 7 of the last 10. So if you do want to go for another solid assist game for Ionescu, not the best overall scoring game, I don't mind that angle. I think Ionescu assists is worth a look at 5.5 minus 120.
All right. Brittany Sykes. Oh, yeah. Brittany Sykes. Over points, rebounds, and assists. Because, Scott, she's been flirting. She's been flirting with some. She's definitely had back-to-back double-doubles against this team. Over in the past few games, we've had a couple of sightings where Brittany Sykes has flirted with the triple-double, gone over in 3 of her last 5. Scott, she's been over in 2 years. She's been over 7 out of 7 games against the New York Liberty, over 18.5 points, rebounds, and assists. And the scoring has been there 14, 14, 16, 20, 29. Like she's been the assists have been there. Yeah, absolutely. It just looks like a really good play here for Brittany Sykes, who's actually had the ball in her hands almost every single time they've come up the court. She's been up on the court. Every time they come up the court, she's had the ball in her hands. She's running the offense. She's doing everything, especially with Shakira Austin, who is out and for the rest of the year. They've shut her down and said she's done for the year. So I'm just going to say they keep going back to their star player, Brittany Sykes, being able to keep getting it done.
I don't mind that. You have any thoughts on like Atkins threes?
If you're alive better, take her in the second half.
Okay.
Especially if I go to the game, man. She's like torched. She's torched so much in the second half of games. But I do think that it's a play. Like I think that it's a good look, especially in the second half when things start breaking down and this starts to get to be a grinded out, nitty-gritty kind of game. Ariel Atkins always finds a way to kind of step up. I don't see a 3-point prop out there right now, but her points prop is at 13.5, and I think that's a pretty good look. She's been over and pretty consistently looking at her last few games against the New York Liberty, 13, 15, 20, 13, 14.
She's gone over in 5 of the last 8 against the Liberty.
Okay. What else we got here?
I see Free Sauce mentioning Sykes.
What are we doing with Sabrina?
I said I like the assists over at 5.5. I'll back the assist train. The points haven't really been there lately, but I also see Free Sauce mentioning Sykes rebounds at 3.5. The over is plus 104. Let me just quickly dive into that one. But I don't mind. I mean, she's going to have to play a bunch of minutes. It's basically a playoff game for them. So You mentioned the points. To go through her rebounds, at 3.5. Recently, not so great, but she has landed 3 quite often, so she's on the cusp. But against the Liberty, she has gone over in 5 straight. In fact, you mentioned the double-double. She's had at least 10 rebounds in each of the last 2 meetings she's had against the Liberty. So I don't mind the 3.5 over there. I mean, once again, the games she's missed recently, in general, she's landed exactly 3. And without Austin playing, there was some room for rebounding. So Sykes has been good in the head-to-head. She's been playing a bunch of minutes. I don't mind that angle of plus money.
All right. Yeah, I can't get there on Stewie either. So that's about it for me.
All right.
Before we get to the next game on the slate, though, got to talk to you about Underdog Fantasy. Fantasy Pick'em has added so much more to their awesome menu by adding first touchdowns. This is crazy. You can do everything at Underdog Fantasy. Tons of ways to win with NFL, college football, MLB, WNBA. So make sure you get in there, get some boosts that they give out, get some profit bonuses and no sweat entries, all of that on Underdog Fantasy. Look, sign up, use my promo code NBA SGPN, claim your special pick, first time deposit offer, and go try to win a bunch of cash. Underdog Fantasy, up to $1,000 in bonus cash. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code NBA SGPN. All right. The Minnesota Lynx. Man, we gotta get like a drop of just like, I don't know, maybe it's like Zeus and the gods when some 2 really good teams match up with each other. Minnesota Lynx on the road going to play the Connecticut Sun. Lynx laying 2.5. Open up at 1.5, Scott. Laying 2.5 now. 154.5 is the total. Injury report here for these 2 teams, and I have Dorka Juhas is questionable with that foot injury, and that's it. I don't see anything else concerning these 2. Scott, over the course of the weekend on the show you did that I was not a part of, I'm sorry for,
It's fine.
you know,
you got to watch
I was
Minshew
slacking.
sabotage my teaser. It's fine.
Well, I actually didn't. So I didn't go in the game. I was just at the tailgate.
Okay.
I was at the
Okay.
tailgate, enjoying
So what
time
do
at
you
the
do? You watch it at
tailgate.
a bar?
And then, yeah. I ended up leaving because game tickets were too much. I wasn't paying all that to go see them. And then the Raiders ended up winning. I would have hated being in there.
Yeah.
So no, I didn't. But nonetheless, the flow chart cashed. The question here
They can't
is,
beat that damn team, man. They just can't beat the Aces. They just can't do it.
the question is here. Minnesota is technically not on the flow chart, but
Well, Connecticut's won the head-to-head series so far.
yeah, like that's what I'm saying. Like Minnesota's not on the flow chart, and it's because Connecticut's been able to get it done. I mean, they gave them a game and were able to cover the first game 83-82, but then Connecticut wins as a 3.5 point dog, 78-73. Like, Scott, I mean, does Connecticut have their number?
I don't know about having their number, but I do expect to see a very close game. Now, the question I have for the Lynx, which is the question I had for the Liberty over the weekend, the Lynx, in theory, can catch the Liberty for first place. Is it going to happen? Probably not. They have to win out, and the Liberty have to lose out. It's probably not going to happen. Now, since they did win against the Sun, they did win against the Liberty, and the Sun lost to Vegas. They did gain a game in the standings for the 2 seed. So currently, they're 2 games up on Connecticut, which means that they need to lose out and Connecticut needs to win out in order to get the 3 seed. So do I think the Lynx are going to be as desperate as the Sun, or do I think the Sun maybe aren't going to care because they think they can't catch this team? I don't know. It's supposed to be a close game with seeding implications, but I'm not sure if it actually does have any implications because once the Lynx beat the Liberty, they built themselves a lot of extra cushion that they might have needed. So I am going to ask you, do you expect to see just a massive slugfest, or do you think one of these teams, if it goes bad early, maybe just calls it a day? I don't know.
I don't think anybody calls it a day, and it's just because, these games have been close because these teams are so evenly matched. Like, what's the knock on the Lynx that kind of pulls them out of this is the fact
They
that
can't rebound.
yeah, they can't rebound. They end up getting short possessions, and when they're not hitting, when they're not hitting the three, it just all kind of goes to crap for them, scoring wise at least. But it's the same thing for the Sun. I mean, when the Sun are not scoring, they just playing good defense, and the score just kind of stays there and stays the same. So like,
My favorite play is the under in
yeah,
this game.
the clear cut. Like that's almost a lock.
I'm going to keep
That's
backing the playoff type atmosphere angles for unders, but we saw them play twice this season. Most recent meeting was in July. That game landed 151. First game landed 165, but it went to overtime, so it landed 144 in regulation. I see a war. I was trying to play devil's advocate, asking if motivation might actually not be as big of a factor as we think because of the 2-game separation now between these teams. But I think that both teams will still go for it, and I do think you're going to end up seeing a spot where both teams defensively, at least for a quarter, maybe in crunch time, just kill each other, and maybe the refs don't call anything. You might end up getting a great playoff type of game out of this. So I like the under in the matchup. If you're asking me who I would take personally, I would lean Lynx because I think they're the better team. But I do think I'd rather just take the under and go for some player props. The side's very tough, but I think the Lynx, if you're asking me which team I think is better, I would tell you the Lynx are a better team. That's kind of where I'm at.
Dog, the rebounding is gonna be.
I know. I know. I like Brianna Jones and like AT props. That's why I said
Yeah,
it's a good prop
I'm
But
I'm gonna take. I'm gonna take Connecticut.
all right,
I don't feel good about it. I don't feel good about it. I really don't. And I think that it possibly could come down to like a last second three that some random player on the Minnesota Lynx had his. And but I'm gonna back. I'm gonna back Connecticut because that rebounding is a crazy edge, and that's just
Mhm.
extra possessions. And whoever has the most possessions is gonna win this game because the defense is gonna be spectacular. So, all right, Connecticut plus 2.5 for me. Scott's on Minnesota. We love the under. I mean,
Mhm.
love the under. Player props. All right, I'll let you go first, Scott. You go ahead. You buried the lead there. Bree Jones is really, really good.
Yeah, that's where I was going. I also like Courtney Williams. Her points are 10.5. She's been walking into basically 11 or 12 or higher quite often. She's had at least 11 points, at least 12 points actually in 6 straight. She's had at least 11 points in 13 of the last 19. And in the head-to-head, she's gone over in 4 straight. So I think Courtney Williams' points line's way too low. I'll give me the over at 10.5 there at about minus 130. I'll start off with that one. Brianna Jones, we've been talking about, but I will go through it again. She's been really good, and the team's starting to play through her, and nobody's really had an answer for her because she's been scoring a bunch of points. She's had at least 17 points in 5 straight, at least 17 points in actually 7 straight. And in the head-to-head, she's been kind of up and down, but in the last 2 meetings, had 7 last meeting, had 19 in the first one. They've been feeding her, and she's been dominant. So I don't mind Brianna Jones having a solid game. Points, though, 14.5. I don't mind just quickly seeing the rebounds for her. The rebounds have been good. She's had at least 8 rebounds in 4 straight. And we know that the Lynx aren't a good rebounding team. You can get around 6.5 rebounds at like minus 154, which is kind of juicy. 7.5 is plus money at plus 116. So you want to go for an alt line, you can take that approach. Don't mind points and rebounds, though. Gone over in 7 straight. Pretty solid option. So I'll go with that, and I will go with Courtney Williams points as my main 2 options for this game. You could go with AT rebounds, though, if you want something else.
Oh, I'm taking AT points, rebounds, and assists, and I'm just gonna put everything into one.
Okay.
Everything into one, just like some gumbo. Look here. I mean, listen to the past few games. This is AT's team. 13, 10, and 14, 18, 7, and 5, 28, 6, and 12, 26, 8, and 6, 15, 3, and 10, 21, 20, and 12, 17, 14, and 11, 15, 9, and 2, 16, 9, and 16. I
Yeah.
mean, she's cleared 25 and a half, and frankly, it hasn't been close in a lot of these games.
No, it's 9. It's 9 straight in that to go over the PRA.
Oh my gosh. I mean, absolute complete domination. And if there's ever a game there's ever a game to come get up, it's a line where you've already cashed 58% of the time on the season for
Mhm.
AT, 25.5 points, rebounds, and assists. Way, way, way too short by the dip. By the dip. It's the past 2 games. She had 6, 5, and 7 against Vegas, who a team that is consistently giving her problems. You have 7, 3, and 11 against Phoenix. Didn't really require her to do much by the dip.
Yep.
All right. What else? What else do we got here?
If you want to go for just recent trends, Alana Smith points and rebounds actually pretty low. I do want to point out that Alana Smith, 12.5 points and rebounds. She's gone over in 5 straight. So I do think she can be in line for a solid game here. Also ended up seeing that Johaz only played 3 minutes before getting injured. So you might get more minutes potentially for Alana Smith in this game based on maybe just a lack of backup options. So maybe she'll get a little bit more of a workload. But she's been good lately. The volume shooting-wise has been there. She's attempted 23 shots in the last 2 games. So I do think you're looking at Alana maybe getting some more shot opportunities. Rebounding, though, has been fine. She has had at least 6 rebounds in 4 straight. So 5.5 rebounds actually plus money if you want to take that approach. But I do think I'm going to go with points and rebounds for Alana. She's been good lately. And once again, she might get a bit more minutes now that Dork is injured. So I don't mind Alana over her points and rebounds.
Fee is at 19.5 points, so like the over there. I know it's been a little rough. 18, 20, 14, 19, 26 in her last 5. She's only been over 2 in the last 5. But again, another really, really solid matchup. I know she had 9 in a meeting against them earlier this season. 31, 31, 26, 3 matchups before that. And this is playoff basketball. At the end of the day, I think this is going to come down to Nafisa Collier is going to take her team over. Like, she's going to take her team over. She's going to get to her spot and she's going to rise up and shoot and connect more often than not. She's one of, probably if it wasn't for an all-time, probably one of the best WNBA seasons that we've ever seen against Asia Wilson, she would be MVP. So I'm rocking with our MVP or second runner-up MVP in that alternate world.
You think she gets second, or do you think Caitlin does?
No, I think it's Nafisa.
I'm with you. I think Caitlin gets third.
Yeah, I think she gets third. And I really, really like, and it's because it's like the third place and the extra votes. But like, honestly, there should be no question who the first and second place votes go to. Like,
especially based on standings. I mean, the Lynx have a shot at the 1 seed. They'll probably be the 2. Like that, they probably should.
And I'm sure somebody's going to give Caitlin a first place vote, and that's going to keep Asia from being unanimous. But like, it really should be no question who the first and second place votes go to.
That's how I feel. I do wonder, though, if the voters are going to give Caitlin second place because of all the recent rookie record she set and the Fever making the playoffs. It's possible, but of course, Asia should be unanimous.
That should go into her rookie of the year.
Oh, it should.
Not an MVP argument.
To be fair, I think she'll be unanimous rookie of the year because you ended up seeing Angel Reese get injured. So we'll see what happens there. But
and she deserves it.
Yeah, she does. She's going to win the award anyway, but with Angel Reese getting injured, she might be unanimous in that one. But Collier will definitely be top 3 MVP, no doubt about it. Probably top 2.
All right. What else we got here?
We got 3 more games.
Before we get to that, Scott, gotta talk to you about BetUS, the best in the business with BetUS, who've been around for more than 40 years. You can bet anywhere. They're bet available in the US, and they have a whole bunch of international markets as well. So make sure you go and hey, get on BetUS and place that under in the Minnesota Lynx and Connecticut Sun game, under 154.5. We both love that bet. Make sure you go over there and use BetUS and get that 125% deposit bonus on your first 3 deposits. Go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/BetUS and sportsgamblingpodcast.com/BetUS. Hey, and make sure you use that promo code SGPN so they know we sent you. BetUS, America's favorite sportsbook. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. Hey, Rhythm AI had a great NFL Week 2, 22.5% ROI on NFL spread bets and a 44.3% ROI on NFL money line bets. Scott, I will let you know. I know for 100% fact because I hammered it after I saw Rhythm was on it. They were on the Saints plus 6.5 and the money line, Scott. Never in doubt. Again, pretty bad loss for the Cowboys. Like, really bad loss for the Cowboys. But great for me, a Giants fan, to see a pure hater. And I'm talking about the hater in the greenest sense of the word. Like, I just hate for no reason. Excellent, excellent thing for me to see as a pure hater. Looking over here at Rhythm. Rhythm likes the Minnesota Lynx, Scott. They're backing you.
Okay.
Minnesota Lynx, 66.1% on the money line. They think you should just play it on the money line and take those odds, minus 130 odds, somewhere around there. They're saying go ahead and take it with the Minnesota Lynx. I actually don't hate it. Like, I don't hate it. I really don't. I might bend it.
I think it's going to be a war. Once again, if you're asking me who I think's going to win the game, I'm picking the better team.
Yeah.
So
maybe it's just as easy as that. Just take the better team.
I think the Lynx can win the whole thing. So I do not think that about the Sun. So I think that there's maybe a little, I don't want to say a tier gap, but I do hold the Lynx significantly higher on my power rankings than the Sun. So that's kind of where I'm at. I think the Lynx could win the entire thing. That wouldn't shock me.
Guess what else? 56.8. Man, I'm giving out 2 Rhythm plays out for the people. I mean, this is just easy. You guys, come on now. Under 155, 56.5% win probability for the Minnesota Lynx and the Connecticut Sun game. Under 155. That's another Rhythm play. I mean, Scott, they're giving us the keys. There you go. Lynx and under. Make sure you use that. Hey, make sure you use that promo code. And go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm, RITHMM, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. And you can get 7-day free trial to Rhythm and get all those insights. And I'm telling y'all, they actually have a whole bunch of insights. Go do that right now. Like, how many bets are they? So they have, let me tell the people, 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait, was that? Yeah, 4, 5, 6, 7. And there's even more than that, honestly. I just stopped counting at this point, but there's a lot of bets that they're saying go make on this WNBA card. So make sure you go and get that 7-day free trial. Don't even have to pay for it. You can do it for free. Just go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. All right. Scott, Studio Reichel, next game up on the slate. We have 7:30 p.m. on the East Coast. The Chicago Sky are on the road going to play the Atlanta Dream in a pivotal matchup.
Yeah,
And first of all,
I'm gonna override the rules. I'm gonna play it anyway. I think these teams both are terrible, but one of them might get in the playoffs, but they are not good at basketball. But anyway, get back to your point.
I mean, first of all, the victory lap of the call of over the weekend of, man, whichever one of those teams won that first game against in the Mystics and Dream series, the other one was 100% coming in and winning the second game.
What a war, though. What a game.
Absolute battle. Amazing fun game to watch. And now we have the cultivation. Chicago Sky, Atlanta Dream in Atlanta. This is it. Like, I mean, I get that the Mystics are still in it, but like, they have New York and Indiana. Yeah, they have New York and Indiana left. Like,
Indiana might have nothing to play for, though. So that could be a potential game to sit some people. So we'll see what happens.
Scott, I know we didn't mention it, but we got to sprinkle something on Mystics money line against the Liberty.
I probably
there's a chance that the Liberty just pack it in and say, all right, guys, you're trying too hard, because the Mystics really need that game. Like,
I mean, also they're playing at the same time, but in theory, if they scoreboard watch and the Sun are kicking the Lynx's ass, they might just bench anybody anyway. They could, in theory, just scoreboard watch, can't they?
Yeah.
So not saying it's going to happen, but that's a possibility. But
Definitely. I mean, okay, so I know that I can't believe we got back into that game, but again, you should be playing it already, but you have to play that Mystics first half money line. You have to.
it's been too good all year at this point.
You
Might as well
have to play that Mystics first half money line because there's all the uber amount of motivation that they have. Because this Chicago and Atlanta Dream game is going to determine who's going to the playoffs.
Mhm.
All right. Injury report here, and I'm telling you, it's a doozy because what's the update on Camilla? Camilla's questionable, man. It's that same shoulder that was giving her problems that she injured early, like to start the year, and then sidelined her to start the year, and they've been taking care of it and doing their best and all of that. Giving problems again. I mean, is it as simple? I mean, both of these teams suck. So, but so
I
that's
don't know
not a
what
part
this
of the
guy.
handicap, Scott.
What
Both
does
of
this
the teams
guy?
you played the drop.
But what does this guy have? Like I don't even know what this team has. You're just
I
looking
mean, what
at
does Atlanta have?
Cardoso.
Atlanta has everybody. It still sucks.
Correct, but at least they have talent. I don't even know what Chicago has. You're looking at Chicago in the last game. They lost to the Mercury. We've wrestled the Mercury for months, and they lost that game. They lost one game at home. Griner at 26. They give up 25 to Tarazi. But looking at Chicago, I mean, Cardoso played 9 minutes. She got hurt. Banham at
Yeah,
17. Carter at 20. And you
and that's why
had
they got their ass kicked because Cardoso got hurt.
Onyewere, though, was solid. I actually gave out her points on last episode, and she had 18. So she actually played very well. I wouldn't mind her props for that one. Harrison at 10 and 8 as well. But I can't stand both these teams at all. I mean, that win by the Dream against the Mystics was massive. Not just for the sake of keeping their hopes alive, but also for trying to, get themselves back on track. They were in free fall. They really needed that win. Oh, boy. I might actually be taking the points here. I'm not going to bet this game.
Scott, you played the drop, and it's 6.5.
I know. It's a massive spread.
Imagine any toilet bowl game, and you're getting 6.5 points.
I think I have to. Like, yeah, that's the kind of how I'm looking at it. Do I think the Dream win this game? Yes, but I don't trust both these teams to show up for a full 40. So I just see a bunch of chaos and a bunch of bad basketball. So if Atlanta wins by 15, would I be shocked? Maybe a little. I mean, based on paper, they should, but they don't play as well as they should be playing. Potentially bad coaching.
No, is Kennedy Carter back in Atlanta? Like the team that
She's the only player that really scares me, though. Like that's the problem.
Well, you just said Michaela Onyenwere is playing well. You bought in on the points. Isabel Harris. Like, if you look at that Chicago game, for everything is worth, they just couldn't stop anybody on defense. No. But they had a pretty solid offensive day. They hit 14 threes, 56% on the outside. Dana Evans was 3 for 3, gave you 13 points off the bench. Izzy gave you 10 and 8 off the bench. Like, they showed you things to be excited about and to say that, okay, they can be competent. I know the Mercury suck, but all these teams suck. So we just got to take it out that all these teams suck out of the equation because everybody sucks. And that's the common denominator. So now that we all have them all at one common denominator, you can't lay 6.5 points with this Dream team right now.
I think I'm with you. I think if I had to, I'd take the points.
Yeah, man. Dog, if we fall on our face with this, I'm fine. But we can't lay 6.5 with the Dream right now.
No, I can't look in the. I just wouldn't be able to look myself in the mirror if I laid 6.5 with the Dream. I can't do it. Do I think Cardoso is going to play? By the way, no.
By the way, the Dream also lost to that.
To the Mercury.
Yeah, they also lost to the Mercury. Yeah. Like, oh, what? No, can't take that team right now. Not 6.5 points. That's way too much.
I might actually like the over in that game because Chicago's not guarding anybody. I know it's a playoff atmosphere. I get all that, but at some point,
it's just going to be a playoff atmosphere where just bucket after bucket, and they're trading buckets. I'm with you.
That's kind of how I feel. I don't trust either team to stop anybody, especially Chicago. Chicago's given up what, like 80? They've given up 83 plus points in 3 straight. I mean, they're looking at Chicago's games, and they have been just an absolute, just really atrocious defense. I can't trust them. I think I got to go with the over.
Yep. Looking at the last 5 games for the Atlanta Dream, they're giving up 84.2 points per game. That's 8th in WNBA. Chicago's giving up 84. That is 7th in the WNBA. Let's look here.
I mean, I tried
Both
to
of
go
these
for
two
yeah.
teams. Oh, my fault. I was just gonna say both of these two teams are also not allowing a lot of offensive rebounds. That's another good note. That they're pretty solid in the offensive glass. But again, one of that is with Camilla, and Camilla really, like, if Camilla plays, this is just a lock. Like, this is a surefire lock, and they're actually liable to mess around and win the game. But without Camilla, I do think that this is still a pretty good play with the chance that it could possibly lose. But I feel pretty good about it.
I think my favorite prop in this game is actually Lindsay Allen. I'll take the over 3.5 assists at -138. She's been great as a facilitator. The team sucks, but she has been doing pretty well passing. She's had at least 4 assists in 8 of the last 10, at least 4 assists in 15 of the last 19. 3.5. It's a very low number. I'll take the over on Allen assists at 3.5 at -138.
It's probably a low number because nobody's betting Lindsay Allen ever.
Probably not, but they don't really have a
Yeah.
true point guard. She's kind of turned
No, they're
herself into
not.
the main
She is.
facilitator.
She helps bring the ball up the court and definitely gives Kennedy breaks. So all right. Let's see here. What do I like? Well, I mean, the first thing, if Camilla doesn't play, and you're telling me Camilla's not gonna be there, Tina Charles, where are you?
The
Because not
rebounds
only
the rebounds were 11.5, unfortunately, but I
it's
still don't mind
fine.
the
I
over.
think points and rebounds is a solid look. I
I think
do.
points were at 15.5, I think. 16.5, so it's 27.5 PR.
Yep, 27.5 on the PR. She had 20 and 10 her last game against Washington. I can see something like that happening again here tonight, looking at the head to head. And yeah, it was a tougher matchup the last time they played, and that's Angel and Camilla in the lineup. But she's also had 19 and 14, 22 and 7. And if Camilla's not going to be there, I think that Tina Charles is roasting them alive. Oh,
I
I
think
think
yeah.
she's roasting them alive. I mean, Camilla's gotten really, really sound and really, really solid. And I've said it earlier in this season. You can run back whatever episode. I said Camilla's a future defensive player of the year in this league for sure. But so if she's not going to be there, oh, Tina Charles.
I might only want the points for that one. The rebounds haven't been that consistent lately for the last week, but Charles should get whatever matchup she wants on the inside. The volume is always there for her shooting. So
Mhm.
I don't mind Charles over 16.5 points. She might be able to walk into 18 on like a really bad shooting night. If she ends up going like 6 of, I don't even know, 17 and gets to the line a couple times, she might get there
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah.
So I like it for the volume.
All right. Let's see. What are we doing here with Ryan Howard and Alicia Gray?
Great threes, I feel like, is usually the move we have, at least based on the last couple weeks. Her threes are a 1.5 again. It's at -135. I'll go with the over. Against Chicago, she has had at least 2 threes in 3 of the last 4 meetings, but mostly based on the last 10. She's gone over in 7 of the last 10 games in general. I think Alicia Gray threes is too cheap. Give me the 1.5 at -135.
Yeah, I like that too. Buying the dip there. All right. Ryan Howard had those 3 30-point games and fell off the past couple of games. So she's down to 18 and a half.
To be fair, that was kind of expected, but
I mean, come on. It was 3 30-point
yeah.
games. Like, yeah, at some point she was going to come down to life. But I don't know, man. I just feels like playoff basketball, chance to get into the playoff. Ryan Howard just got to kind of, like, she's got to take the team over.
I mean, if we're
But it's
picking the
just,
over in the game, Howard probably gets going.
yeah. I'm not mad at Ryan Howard props. I'm really not.
Yep.
All right. Let's see. Next game up. Las Vegas.
You have one good game and one bad game. So, yeah, you can pick whichever one you want.
10 p.m. on the East Coast. Las Vegas Aces on the road going to play Seattle Showers. Vegas is laying 6.5. And I'm going to let you know, it might not be enough. It might not be enough. 162 and a half is the total injury report for the Showers, and it is a doozy. Jewel Lloyd is not going to be playing. She is out with a knee injury. Ezzy, not playing, out with a concussion.
Yeah. I think the Aces kicked this team's ass.
Oh my God, they're going to beat the shit out of them.
They really should. And the game matters because right now Seattle's one game behind the Aces for the 4 seed. This is probably a
home
first
court.
round series.
This is home court.
Yeah.
This is home court. They play each other in the first round, home court. Like, I'm sorry, bro. You're not getting me to buy into any Seattle team without Jewel Lloyd.
And even with Jewel Lloyd, I mean,
care.
we've been roasting this team for months. They just don't bring it on a regular basis, and now they're missing their best scorer. They're missing Ezzy's been a mess for the last couple of months, but they're still missing one of their front court members, and they're going to need everybody to potentially stop Asia. I got to go with the Aces here. I mean, the Aces won the last 2 meetings. They've played the last one in Seattle. That was a game the Aces actually won, but they trailed at halftime. They actually only scored 30 points in the first half and scored 54 in the second half. The Aces were getting killed in that game, and they came back and they won. The Aces are playing great basketball. I might actually have to sprinkle them to win the title again. I'm at that point. They're really they look good. They've won 7 of the last 8. The defense has been phenomenal. Seattle, I like the points with the Sparks last game, and they got there. Get high scoring game, but Seattle, they play around too much. And the Aces are out for blood. They look like they're out for blood, and I just think the Aces right now are playing their best basketball of the season. This game might be very lopsided. And I do wonder if Seattle knows that if they end up falling behind early in this game, do they pack it in? Maybe. They might.
I think they're already packed in when they said that.
It looks like they're packed in. They've been messing around. They barely beat the Sparks. They've been rough for the last couple of weeks. Now you're just
trying to get the bench unit and everybody else some really good minutes going into the playoffs and get them really comfortable in playing.
Like, trying to keep people healthy. I mean, Seattle's won 4 straight. I haven't been impressed by any of those wins. They played the Sparks twice.
Oh no, they haven't covered in the past 3 games.
Yeah.
They haven't covered in the past 3 games. Look, they got 3 wins against LA. They got 3 games against LA, Dallas, LA in that order. Did not cover any of them. Didn't cover as a 12.5 point favorite. Didn't cover as an 11 point favorite. Didn't cover as an 8.5 point favorite. All of those games came down to the wire. All those games they got out by the skin of their teeth. They're not playing good basketball at all whatsoever, and now they're down 2 of their best 4 players.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. This Ace, I mean, what is Aces 11.5? I mean, 11 plus win margin. What is that priced at? This Aces team is going to kick their ass.
They really should.
A Seattle team that they've had a rivalry against in years past. That, hey, I know Breanna Stewart's not there anymore. They still don't like this Seattle team.
I'm just saying, what's the balancing here for Seattle though? Like on one hand, you could try to get the 4 seed. On the other hand, do you try to coddle Diggin Smith and all the other stars to make sure they don't get injured too? Like I'm kind of wondering what the game plan is here for Seattle.
I mean, if you start getting your ass kicked, like it's no reason to play them 35 minutes. I mean, 20. There's a difference between Skylar Diggins-Smith and NECA playing 35 plus minutes and 28 minutes. Like those few minutes matter. They're about to get their ass kicked. Like this is not even going to be close. Lay 6.5. I wouldn't be surprised if we wake up in the morning and this line's all the way up to 9.
I think 9's a bit high. Usually, you get a move like that if there's an injury involved, but I do wonder if Seattle's comes out
pack
flat.
It in. They're going to give out more minutes.
The Aces came out extremely flat in the last meeting in Seattle, and they still came back and won the game. And that was when they were at full strength. They're missing too many bodies, but I am going to play the drop though because it's warranted. Yeah,
this is going to be such a great series when everybody's healthy. This is going to be a great first round series. Absolutely grateful. Like if Jewel and Ezzy
great. I think the Aces sweep them. So I think it's.
You think the Aces are going to sweep them?
I do. I think the Aces and the Liberty. I think the Aces and the Liberty have a war in the second round. They might go to 5 games.
No, I think they're going. No, I think the ass whooping that they're going to get in this game is going to be the thing that actually keeps them in the series.
I just think
'Cause
the
they're
Aces right now
100%.
are clicking.
They're gonna get their ass kicked this game, and then they're gonna go on the road in Vegas, and they're gonna get a win in the first game of the playoffs.
I don't know. The Aces strike me as that March Madness team that got underseeded. You look at them and they're a 4 seed, but based on paper, they look like a 2. I just think the Aces are much better than this team right now.
Yeah. No, I 100% agree. But I'm telling you, I have the script. This is what's going to happen. The Aces are going to kick their ass this game. That's going to be exactly the motivation they need. The first game of the playoffs, they're going to go in Vegas and they're going to get a win as a dog. And then it's going to go back to Seattle. Vegas is going to sweep the next 2. And then Vegas is going to find themselves in the next round somehow.
We're gonna preview the playoff series individually, or we're gonna do that in a week or two. But we'll get to that point later. I think the Aces sweep this team. Seattle has shown me nothing at home or on the road against good teams in the entire second half of the season. So I don't want to bother.
I'm just giving the people a preview.
Yeah.
We know where you're going to be. You're going to pick sweep, and I'm going to say no. I think that Seattle's going to steal game 1 and then completely fold after that.
If you want the hot take, I think the Aces might actually have something for the Liberty. That's a separate story. We'll see what happens.
Here we go. All right. 162.5 is total.
I might prefer Seattle team total under in this game. Because I think the Aces could score a bunch in this game. Seattle gave up 80-plus points to the Sparks twice and Dallas. I'm not guarding anybody. But the Aces defensively have been incredible. I've mentioned it again, and I have to keep adding a number to it because the trend keeps continuing. The Aces have allowed less than 80 points in, 9 straight games? 8 straight games? 8 straight games. They've allowed less than 90 points. Less than 80 points. They've been great defensively. I think I prefer Storm team total under. With no Jewel, with no Magbagor, maybe they'll pull people early. The Aces defensively have been so good. I just have a hard time going against them. Give me the Storm team total under.
I'll just take the full game under at 162.5. Last 5 games, Storm giving up 78.6 points per game, and that's playing the Sparks and the Wings twice, where say as much as you can say, those teams love to score. They love to push the pace. They love to make you run fast, so that makes them run fast. But prior to that, they had a really, really good defensive set against the Liberty, against Connecticut. I kind of want to lean to that a little bit more defensively. I think this is going to be a little bit more of an inefficient game on both ends of the floor for both teams, actually. So under 162.5. I do like this Seattle team total under as well. And player props.
Asia.
Well, she's. I mean, you can't not go to her. I mean, it's like, yeah, she's got the record, but again, you can't forget she's actually the offense. Like she's actually the offense, and that's where the Aces look like the Aces when everybody's hitting, and you get a game or 2 of that, and it kind of makes you forget about the lows. But there have been a lot of lows this season where nobody else can buy a bucket, man. Like so many times where nobody else can buy a bucket. And if there were ever anywhere for Seattle to get up, it's just get up defending everybody else. I think Asia is the one that I still feel confident playing.
I'm contemplating if I want to actually go for the Aces first half team total over, like 43.5. The line just feels very low for a Storm team that hasn't guarded anybody in about 2 weeks. I know you mentioned the defensive numbers recently haven't been as bad if you increase the sample size, but they're giving 80-plus to the Wings, 80-plus to the Sparks twice. The Sparks can't score. We talk about this all the time. I'm looking at a spot where the Storm are going to come out maybe a bit flat defensively. I do think that the Aces should come out focused because they have been for the last couple of weeks. They've just been killing teams. So I don't mind maybe Aces team total over in the first half as well at 43.5.
All right. Let's see. Anything else? NECA. I think if anybody probably gets a little bit more of the lax defense, it might be NECA and maybe some garbage time. But
I just feel like if
a game, I
Asia's
just don't want to buy into any more points props.
It also comes down to the fact that Asia we know is a great defensive player, and if she keeps NECA in check, you need Diggins Smith to carry, and we know Jackie Young's been great defensively for the last couple of weeks. I just don't know what options Seattle has. Assuming that Asia and Jackie, bring it defensively again. What does Seattle have? They don't have much. That's kind of the problem that I have.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at.
Jackie's been killing this team. 27, 32, 3, 22, 22, 28, 23. Holy shit.
I remember I kept taking Jackie's under assists against this team, which got there, but I'm sure that line has plummeted. But she's had a very good historical run of going under the assists at 4.5. I'm trying to remember what.
4.5.
No, I was trying to remember the exact number. Yeah, but she's gone under this number in 6 of the last 7 against the Storm. The issue, though, is once again, the Storm haven't really been guarding anybody over the last couple weeks, and Jackie did have at least 6 assists in back-to-back games. So I'll probably pass on it, but that has been pretty good head-to-head-wise.
You're not playing it?
The under? No. She's had at least 6 assists in 2 straight games. I think I don't trust Seattle's defense right now. I think she might actually get there, just based on how many points I think the Aces might score.
I'm playing it. Under plus 110, I'm playing it.
Plus 110 is a good deal, but I just don't think I feel like it's a risky play.
Plus 110. You love it. I'm playing it. I trust you. I trust you more than you trust yourself.
I loved it, and then Seattle stopped guarding people. So I just
no, and she's been cooking them. She's gonna score. She's gonna score, and she's not gonna assist.
All right.
What? How did you talk yourself off of that, Scott? That was amazing. That wasn't even on my radar until you pointed it out.
Well, because I remember that I bet on it in the last meeting and it won. Like that's what I remember. But I was looking at the recent games, and Jackie has been passing pretty well. So I think I'm just gonna pass on it, but I'm at least bringing it up for a talking point. Anything else you want for this game?
No, we gotta move on.
All right.
The Borons, they're playing the Sparks.
One of these teams is a playoff team, and to be totally honest, I do not care. Teams suck. All right. Anyway, let's get into it.
Borons laying 2.5, 163. That's crazy that you're in the playoffs against a 7-win team and you're only laying 2.5 on the road. 163.5 is total injury report, and it's a pretty extensive. You got Laisha Clarendon still out. You have Ari McDonald, who is out. Odyssey Sims is probable. Kalia Copper for the Borons is out.
I mean, they're not catching the fever. I believe they're locked into the 7.
Yeah.
So this game means nothing. The finale means nothing. The Mercury, we know, have been sitting Copper to keep her healthy. Give me Sparks money line. Why not? I'm not going to bet this because these teams are terrible, but there's no chance I end up taking the Mercury in the spot.
Over.
I love the over, though. None of the teams are going to guard anybody.
Hey, we were on the same. They are not guarding anybody. Over. Matter of fact, there's still some 162.5s out there at time of recording. Go get one of those. Absolutely.
I want to read off, by the way, Phoenix's defense. Even in the game they won against Chicago. Yeah. This is the points allowed over the last couple weeks. 88, that was against the Sky and the Sun. 90 to Seattle, 90 to Washington. 6-6 against the Dream, 97 against the Aces, 89 against the Lynx, 84 against the Liberty, 80 against the Dream. They've allowed 80-plus points in every game basically for the last 3 weeks except for one. They can't guard anybody.
The Sparks total was at 79.5, by the way.
I mean, I love the over on that, too. They faced off 3 times this season. You had a couple low-scoring games, actually, but that was mostly based on one team just not showing up offensively. The Sparks offensively have been fine lately. They scored at least 82 points in both games against Seattle. And then Phoenix isn't going to guard anybody. They're not going to care because the game doesn't matter for them for either this game or the finale for the standings. Give me the over. I don't see any defense being played.
At all. Not even anything to consider there. Complete over. I mean, when I looked at this game, just over. Over. Yeah, give me the Sparks too. I'm not laying points at the Borons right now. You're got me. No. Screw
They
that.
gave up 88 to Chicago and Cardoso played 9 minutes. Really? Give 88 points to that team? Yeah. Over.
I'm not laying points with the Borons.
I actually think the Sparks are going to win. I don't mind that team total over, though, for Sparks.
I think that, it's still Sparks +3. DK's got Sparks +3 right now and giving you a +130 on the money line.
Yeah, we also have to point out, for the sake of the actual records, that I believe the Sparks have officially clinched the worst record in the league, right? They're a game and a half ahead of Dallas. Did they officially clinch worst record?
Yeah.
So I don't know if this even matters. Like
they clinched the team total too.
Yeah, so they might not even bother tanking at this point. Maybe they'll actually show up for a fourth quarter.
Yeah, they clinched the team total. 2 win. Even if they won the last 2 games, they're at 9 wins, 9.5.
That was my win total lock. It was either that or Chicago over, and both those got there. So pretty good episode for us for the win total.
I think we dominated win total because
I have it written down. I know I dominated. I had the Aces under. I had the Wings under. I had the Fevers in doubt. That was at 20.5. That's coming down to the wire. Where were the Mercury at, actually? 18.5. They need one more win. That's actually close. Yeah, I feel like I had a pretty good read on most of the win totals this year.
What? The Mercury was at 18.5.
They're at 18.5. They're at 18 right now. That actually still in the balance.
Let's see here. Where's that?
I really like Griner in this game if she actually plays a decent amount of minutes. She's been scoring. I think she has a good matchup, but it's true.
Dang, I can't find my win totals. Hold on. Where's my? There we go. All right, so I had Sky. Yeah. So we had the Sky over that cashed. What's the Indiana Fever's record?
I believe they have 20 wins now. They're 20-19, I think.
Holy crap! I can't believe that we're sweating. We're sweating the Indiana.
It comes down to that last game against the Mystics, but we almost won that because Dallas almost beat them, but they did not pull it off in the end. Yeah. So that's a sweat and a half, but it was 20.5 on Indiana.
Oh crap! Holy crap! Yeah,
most of the win totals are decided.
It really comes down to the last game. Here we are, one game versus the Mystics for total.
I'm trying to think of other teams that actually are still on the fence. I only have a couple of the win totals that are listed here on the side. Storm were at 24.5. Storm were at 24. Storm need one more. Yep. They were at 24.5.
Storm do need one more. And we were going back and forth about that one. Dream make playoffs at plus 450. Live bet is still in there. The Wings 10.5. I don't think that's in play anymore.
I think I leaned under on the Storm because I thought they'd care more about the playoffs. That I thought they'd kind of pack it in the regular season. But yeah, a couple of teams that are still on the fence.
Wrong.
Yeah,
it's not wrong. All right, wow, nice little run, nice little win total run there. Okay, let's see. But we locked up the important stuff: Chicago and the Sparks.
Yeah,
we locked up. Those were the important bets.
Just give me Rakia points at 16.5. She had 23 plus. She had 22 plus points in 3 of the last 4. She had 22 against Phoenix last game. They're not going to bother. She'll play 35, 40 minutes. Who cares? Just give me Rakia over.
Yeah, I'm with you.
16.5. That's pretty low for somebody who shoots the ball a lot.
All right, let's see here. We have the Phoenix Mercury and their horrible defense. And so what am I going to do? I'm going to go back to a really, really good offensive player. You took Rakia, and so I will take Odyssey Sims over 11.5. It's at plus money right now, actually. He's at 19 and 13 against them this season.
Okay.
And so now we get, again, probable. I think the fact that she's probable and she's on their injury report just says she's going off. Players that are on the injury report love to go off. Oh, there was a chance you weren't going to play? Well, now you should just go out there and do everything. Free Sauce said it's like plus 240. Absolutely love that as well. She's been over in the past 2 games against Seattle, 20 and 16 in those 2 games. I love it. Think she's going to have a good one. So, Odyssey Sims over on 11.5 points. Let's see. All right. That's it. I'm not touching anything on the Boron side. I'm sorry.
Yep, I'm not either. Maybe Tarazi.
Pretty Griner. Oh, I was saying Griner. He said Tarazi. Wow.
I was going to say, I said Griner before, but Tarazi, in theory, it's one of the last games she might ever play. Is she going to retire at the end of the year? Maybe.
No way Diana Taurasi does not retires without getting a farewell tour. I just don't believe it. I think she's already locked in for another season.
Point is, she doesn't have many regular season games left. She had like 25 last game. With the people that's potentially sitting with Copper, she has the green light of all green lights. She might shoot the ball 18 times in this game.
All right.
for volume. So I might consider it, but I'm probably not going to bet it. I prefer
All right.
Rakia to just go over, and I'll just go from there.
Yep.
Give me points.
Rakia, Griner, and Odyssey. I think those are the three. If you play
All right.
those, I think those three are going to cash for you.
Okay.
All right. Let's close things out, Scott. We've been going for over an hour. Lock, dog, underdog, and I guess I'll throw a little parlay in there. Oh, wow. So much to like on this slate. Holy crap. For my lock. Oh, man. Wow, it's a lot to like. Wow. All right. Lock up. Aces, laying 6.5.
Okay.
There's no way. There's no way that should stay at 6.5. Should be way more than that. I think they're going to beat the crap out of them. For my dog. I mean, that's easy. You got to play that. I mean, I got to make it my dog so people can see how serious we are about how much you should play this first half money line. I understand you see the plus 270 number there. You're thinking, wow, they're sizable dogs. You have to play it this time. Like, you have to play it. Not to mention that they've already won the first half money line against this Liberty team before this season. There's so much on the line. Like, it is basically foretold that Eric Tebow is going to coach this team up to lead at the half. Now, what they do after, we'll see. But plus 270 on the first half money line for the Mystics. I got to make it my dog because it's a plus 270 this time.
Yeah, that's definitely a good price. For my lock, I wanted the aces too, but I feel like we're going to have to spread it a little bit. But I also wanted to go for maybe going with the over in the Sparks game, but I might save that for my dog, actually. So we might actually double lock this. I think I have to. I tried to see Aces halftime, full time to see what the price would be on that, but unfortunately that was like minus 170 on FanDuel. So I was trying to see if I could find a better price on it. I don't believe I did find a better price, so I don't think I could actually take that. But do I think the Storm get off to a decent start, or do I think they start off slow? Because I maybe wouldn't mind the Aces first half, minus 3.5 in that one. But yeah, you know what? I think I'm going to go with a prop, actually. I'll switch it up. I'll kind of pick something out of the blue that I did like quite a bit. I don't see much defense being played in the matchup between the Sky and the Dream. I'm going to go back to Lindsey Allen. I'm going to go with Lindsey Allen over 3.5 assists at minus 138. I think it's a good line. I think that she's been in a solid form assist-wise recently, and I feel like the market hasn't fully adjusted. But once again, she's had at least 5 assists in 3 straight, at least 4 assists in 8 of the last 10, at least 4 assists in 15 of the last 20. And we think the Dream aren't great defensively. Allen should have the ball in her hands a lot, and I don't know if they could actually bench people when this game might determine their entire season. So I think she'll play a lot of minutes, and I do think with Harrison and with the other options, assuming that Cardoso doesn't play, it's tolerable. Like, I think that she'll be able to get a decent workload in this matchup. And you look at the minutes, she has had a bump up in minutes over the last couple of weeks. So I don't mind the over on Allen for her assist there at 3.5 over, minus 138 as my lock. For my dog, I think I'm going to go back to Rakia, but I'll go with an alt line. Give me Rakia 20 plus points at plus 205.
All right, nice.
205 is a great price because I like the Sparks to go over their team total. But of course, it's going to involve Rakia probably taking a decent amount of shots. She had 22 in the last game against Phoenix. I'll back her individually. She's had 22 plus points in 3 of the last 4. She plays basically 35 plus minutes in every game. Give me Rakia 19.5. Is this the last home game for the Sparks this season? It is. It's the last home game. So give me the Sparks to end off the season at home with a bang. Rakia 20 plus points plus 205.
Nice, Scott. Scott, I just locked this in. 6-1 parlay. Aces, laying 6.5. Mercury Sparks over 162.5. Lynx Sun under 155.5.
Okay. By the way, it does actually make me like the Sparks even more. I didn't realize it was the home finale. So I think they'll show up.
Yeah. Hey, home finale, you're locked into the bottom seed, so it doesn't matter if you win. So not only do you get to win at home, wow, I might have to make a Sparks parlay. Odyssey and Rakia. What is that?
I am
mean?
actually wondering if the Mercury go into the game and go like, oh yeah, Griner and Tarazi are going to play 20 minutes. Like 20 minutes, we're just pulling you, no matter what happens, because the game doesn't matter.
Should I just take Odyssey and Rakia for 20 and 18? I would do Odyssey more, but they won't allow me.
You prefer Odyssey like double-double if you want to go for some pivots?
No.
Okay.
Let's just take the points.
All right.
She's been cooking recently. Odyssey, Rakia for 20 and 18, and Sparks win.
It's probably a good price.
21-1.
Let me actually see what Rakia 20 plus is with the Sparks to win. I'm still going to stick with my original dog play, but I'm just wondering if I include the money line in it, if I can get anything out of it. So Rakia for 20 plus is plus 186 on FanDuel. That price sucks. But if I throw in the money line for the Sparks, it's 350. If I try a same game parlay, though, on DraftKings, sorry, just quickly
Plus
checking.
420.
I mean, sure. Sounds good to me.
A sign. That's kind of a sign.
Let me just quickly plug it in myself. I might experiment with that, but I do think
yeah, it is plus 420.
Yeah, it's 205 for the overall points itself on the parlay builder. Yeah, it's plus 420. Plus 420 is a great price. That's a phenomenal price for a home finale. It's a team that might sit some players and doesn't care. And historically speaking, we faded them on the road for about 3 years. So, yeah, I think it's a good spot.
Oh my God! What? That Sparks
420 is a great price.
So good.
Such a
Holy
great spot.
crap! Wow, that Sparks price is really good.
Mm.
I'm about to put $10 on this.
All right. I might create some type of WNBA bomb because there's actually a lot on the card that I like.
Yeah, like it's a lot. Like there's a lot. We just need to write down everything we like so we don't forget.
Yeah, we'll do.
It's a lot of stuff. All right. Underdog. Well, I mean, we kind of
go back to Rakia.
Yeah, we just buried the lead there. We got to play Rakia.
Okay. I'm trying to think what else you want to go with here.
Hold on.
You want to go to Sykes points? Points and rebounds?
Oh, well, wow. They don't even have Rakia. It's
Okay.
First half.
I'll swap in Rakia for Courtney Williams. I'll take Courtney Williams higher, 10.5 points.
Okay, let's see here. Courtney Williams. What are you doing? All right, guys. You're trying to make it tough on us. Okay, we need another one, Scott.
Oh, they don't have that either?
Nope.
Okay. Lindsay Allen assists. Ionescu assists. They have 5.5. We should take something.
Oh my gosh, Scott! No? You're 0 for 3 calling these out. Okay,
they have Alyssa Thomas. ERA.
Where's Brittany Sykes? Where's Sykes?
I asked for Sykes. I said Sykes points or rebounds. I was thinking of some stuff. I know you wanted AT. You wanted AT.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well we got Sykes 19.5 points, rebounds, and assists for sure.
Okay, good enough. Do they have AT points, rebounds, and assists?
Yeah, let me check. All right. AT. Yep, 25.5. Throw that in there. We can play Fee. We can play
Brianna. Want to go Brianna Jones?
We could go Bree Jones, but we're going AT. Let's not stack
up. Yeah, that's fine.
We'll cheer for AT. We could go Candy Carter back in Atlanta for a playoff spot. And Tina Charles is at Tina Charles 16.5 higher.
You know what? You want to go Alicia Gray 1.5 threes?
Yeah. Well, it's 0.91. You cool with the 0.91?
They've rejected 4 of my plays already. I'm fine with it. Fine. At least I have it. I'll take it.
Brittany Sykes higher, 19.5 points, rebounds, and assists. Alyssa Thomas higher, 25.5 points, rebounds, and assists. And Alicia Gray higher, 1.5 3-pointers made, 5.46x on Underdog. $100 gets you $546. Yes, Ryan, we are not laying 6.5 with Atlanta. It's really less about the sky and more about we're not laying that big of a number with Atlanta.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right. Scott, anything else for people before we get up out of here?
Not really. Fun card. Should be fun. We only have about 2 or 3 regular season days left, so make sure to savor them.
Yeah, we're getting into the playoffs.
If you enjoy watching the Sparks play
Hey.
basketball, you don't have many games left to do so. So make the most of it, I guess.
We're getting some playoff hoops here very, very soon. All right. That's it. Make sure you give us a 5-star rating and review wherever you get your podcasts. Make sure you give me a follow at Reichel Radio. I'm at ___. And shout out to the chat. 73 in the chat, late night, hanging out with us. Appreciate y'all. Shout out Ryan. Shout out Free Sauce. Who else was up here in the stream? I saw a bunch of our regulars today. Shout out Mal. She's in there. She said, turning the page. The Sparks turning the page for Paige Beckers. Band, AOD, D Johnson. Shout out to everybody that's just made this constantly coming in here in the chat. Leg Show Magazine was in here earlier. Oos Lee, Do Your Job Sports, Adrian Helms, everybody, Lane, everybody. Thank you, everybody. Skrills. If I forget somebody, I'm sorry. Appreciate it. Love you all. Appreciate you all. Another great season. And we're going to keep going. We're keep going all the way until the playoffs. Now, I have nothing else to say. Nothing else to do. No other way of ending the podcast is anything like this. We are out of here.